Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Leah, and on this episode, I'm giving you a quick shot of romance author spotlight edition. And on this author spotlight, I'm joined by my co-host Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
And we are welcoming author Cynthia St. Aubin. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm impressed. First time.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Best-selling author, Cynthia St. Aubin wrote her first play at age 8 and made her brother's perform it for the admission price of gum wrappers, a steal considering she provided the wrappers in advance. Did you have them fold the wrappers and do like that zigzag, like? Okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the chains, like. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm totally aging myself with that, but now that I'm reading, I'm
clearly we are of the same vintage. Because yes, absolutely. And like you go from double mint to fruit stripe to big red to the groupings were very important. But yes, I did spare some of them to double as admission tickets.
And we're going to circle back to that in just a second.
Okay.
Though her early work debut
I've never met anyone else who did this. I'm so excited.
Though her early work debuted to mixed reviews, she never quite gave up on the writing thing, even while earning a mostly useless master's degree in art history and taking her turn as a cube monkey in the corporate world. Because the voices in her head kept talking to her and discouraged drinking at work, she started writing instead. While she's not standing in front of the fridge eating cheese, she's hard at work figuring out which mythological, art historical, or paranormal friends to play with next. She lives in New York with 2 surly cats. Okay, so fruit stripe gum. It was...
Yes.
I do not chew gum anymore. Like it's a texture thing for me, but honestly, that was like the best, worst gum ever invented.
Thank you. It was so beautiful up front, but then it was so brief.
And like 30 seconds in,
and gone.
30 seconds in.
And then it's just bland, gummy sadness after that.
But the zebra really sold it.
I'm telling you, like the zebra really sold it. And the color, and to have a gum that was like had a painted texture even was so my little neurodivergent heart was just like, oh, treasure. It came in different colors.
It did.
I mean, the colors didn't really align with the flavors too much from what I could tell, but I mean, even so.
I mean, it was the early 90s. So.
For the 10 seconds that it lasted, it was glorious. And then after that, it was just
Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, clearly writing has been something that you've done for a long time. What made you decide to write that first novel?
So, at the time, I was working as the executive assistant to the chief technology officer of a staffing company.
Okay.
And I was also writing a blog. People did those back in those days. Again, dating myself, this was the heyday of the blog, called Not the Crazy Cat Lady.
Okay.
I think that was more like an attempt at a self-fulfilling prophecy than anything else, like trying to stave that off. But what happened is I was writing this blog. It was about a kind of my experiences with new stepmotherhood, because I inherited, with that marriage, I inherited 3 sons right away. And so I was writing about those journeys, and I kept getting comments on the blog that said things like, "You're so funny. You should write a book. You should write a book. You should write a book." And I thought one day I'm gonna write a book. And at the time, working as an executive assistant, the gentleman who I was assisting, a lovely human, frequently, I don't know what he did over his lunch hours, but I had to keep a personal stash of Tide sticks, lint rollers. And when he would come back, I would be like madly scrubbing stains off his tie and his shirt before he went into an executive meeting. And like, that's sort of where the idea began to percolate of like, what if you were the assistant to someone who may or may not be have more secrets than just like a habit of enthusiastically eating pho for lunch and getting, wearing the hoisin all the time. So what would that entail? Like, oh yes. Well, and listen, there's no judgment in that statement, because I too am a very enthusiastic and not a very neat eater. But again, like I wouldn't have to go into executive meetings following. And so that was sort of where the idea came from.
Okay.
And that idea collided with all of the suggestions that I should write a book kind of at the same time. And so that's where it started.
It was like a perfect storm.
It really was. Yeah. The idea of like, what would it be like to be an assistant to someone who may or may not be human, may or may not have a dark, dangerous, potentially morally gray past, present, that kind of thing.
That's amazing
I
because
can't
I worked for someone like that, but my brain never went there. So it's
Isn't it's interesting too how people who have to function at such high levels of like industry um, in the corporate world struggle so hard with those basic tasks like
Mhm.
keeping a shirt unstained, or this is what your calendar looks like today, or this is how a schedule works, or it's interesting kind of like the way that the mind works differently. So that idea too of like, if this person may or may not be human, how would that affect
Yeah.
their ability to interface with technology and things like that. So it kind of all, yeah, it was all of a piece in that way.
So when you're writing your stories, do you have any habits or rituals that help you stay focused?
Focus. So I am I'm my official diagnosis is ADHD. So I'm on the spectrum, but
Okay.
also with the the ADHD sidecar. Focus is a consistent struggle,
Hmm.
and that's just that is literally part of my lived reality. And what I've had to kind of do is have routines. I would say routines for good brain days and bad brain days. And
Okay.
good and bad doesn't, no judgment is implied. It's just
Right.
sort of some days my brain is going to be more locked in than others. And I have routines for days where I'm more locked in. And then I have routines for days when I'm less locked in, like a
Okay.
set of tasks that I might do one day or the other. But definitely caffeination is the first step, no matter what, right?
Hmm.
There, yes. So I have a separate little coffee maker and tea station right there in my office, so that I minimal, because I'm easily distracted. That's part of the problem with the focus,
Yeah.
is having coffee and tea right there in my office means I can literally roll out of
You
bed,
don't have
walk
to
right into
move.
the office.
Yes.
Nope, no side quests, right? We go anywhere else in the house, there's an opportunity for side quests, like,
Yep.
"Ooh, this plant needs to be watered. Oh, I really need to repot that. And oh my goodness, I absolutely meant to put those Doritos away last night." Anything that's like aside, like
Yes.
anything that could potentially distract me from the task at hand
Hmm.
is a liability. So on days where I really need to be locked in and write, I have to absolutely have tunnel vision, meaning I go straight from the bed to the caffeination station to the writing chair with
Uh-huh.
nothing in between. Because if anything, God help me, if I open Facebook or Instagram and begin to scroll, it's over. It's all
Yeah.
over, right? Like, 2 hours are going to be gone. That's
Yeah.
just the way it is. So knowing that about myself has really helped.
I mean, that's fair. Like I live with an ADHD kid. He's either no focus or hyper focus. There is no happy
Yep.
medium with him. Like,
Yep.
and I will fully admit, like I have the same problem. Like I squirrel. Like
Yeah.
I've
Oh, yeah.
I have been doing it all day today because, again, we just recently moved. And so it's like I go to start something. I'm like, oh, here's a box that like I can break down. And then I just
I
start
mean,
doing
can we
that.
just
So,
for a second, the moving process when you are neurodivergent or have any kind of flight? Oh my gosh! Like
yes.
the objects, the tasks, the even focusing on one area at a time to pack is so
Yes.
difficult. And then as you're going through things, you're like, oh my gosh, I remember that trip out
Yeah.
to
And
the
then you
lake,
go
and oh, look at
down.
this picture.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're just like paging for like
Hmm.
pictures for an hour, and not
Yeah.
labeling
Things are
and
not
taking
going in the
boxes like
box or coming out of the
exactly.
box. Yes.
They're just being poured over and treasured, which again, not exactly conducive to an efficient moving process. So
So, aside from writing in the romance world, do you read romance?
I do. The flavors of romance I like tend to be a little less traditional.
Okay.
Well, traditional. I don't know. Traditional might not be the right word. So I will say that romance was not what I read primarily growing up. I
Hmm.
was more of a horror girl.
Okay.
And so the I would say the more recent advent of romances that sort of cross those lines, dance across those lines with a little bit of like the danger, the
Yeah.
a little bit of stalker romance, or
I like a good stalker.
I do. Yeah, and I know it's problematic. I get it. If it happened in real life, like it would be an episode of Dateline.
Yep.
I know this. I understand it. This is the beautiful thing about fiction is it gives us fields to play in that in real life don't necessarily are not necessarily like the ones you have red flags planted all around them in real life, but in a
Exactly.
fictional world. Yeah. So in the romance world, that's kind of the flavor I
The more
tend
red
to like.
flags, the better.
Yes, I know, and I know. Like, I'm not proud. I'm not proud of it. It
No, it
just,
exists for a reason. I mean,
right?
you know, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the things in the books that I read and the type of heroes that I really enjoy, my husband is like at the complete other end of the spectrum. Like he's very calm. Like, I mean, he would be
Right?
essentially a cinnamon roll, and I don't really like a cinnamon roll in a book.
Isn't that interesting how that works though?
Yeah, my
Like,
real life and my romance life are vastly different.
oh, there's absolutely no way I could tolerate in real life the kind of hero that I absolutely like snarfle up in a romance novel. Like I'm 44, I'm
Uh-huh.
44 and I just don't have the patience anymore. Like, if you've not done the emotional healing work on your own, I'm not trying to help you catalyze that at this point. If you're not like, but in a book, I'm all for it. I'm like, yes, yes, heal him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There's just something about it.
There is. I think it is, though, also the fact that you get to indulge in it, feel the feelings of it, get the rush of it, and then put your tablet down and walk away and not
Hmm.
have to deal with the fallout
Yeah.
of what actually being with a man like this
It's like a
would
short, sweet
would cause.
moment.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to do life with them. You can just enjoy a little Costco sample,
Hmm.
of
And
what that might taste like.
you know there's going to be an HEA.
Yeah.
Like romance is a
Yes,
guaranteed
yes, yes.
HEA. So,
Hmm. It might take a little bit
Absolutely.
to get there, but so
But
you have
exactly.
you have co-written a few books with Kerrigan Byrne.
Yes.
Is your
Yes.
process when you co-write different from your process when you are writing individually? Which I mean, I know it is a little bit different because there's another person there, but like cohesively, like
Yes.
function-wise, is it very different?
It's interesting because Kerrigan and I have both had this conversation that we struggle when we have to write books alone
Okay.
because having an accountability buddy, somebody who there's so the way we do ours, it we are it's interesting in that we were both late diagnosed.
Hmm.
I started doing the research, was diagnosed, and then she was diagnosed, and we were both like, wow, this has been a core element of our friendship for like 15 years, and we never even realized it, that
Yeah.
we both had these overlaps. It makes so much sense. But the idea of body doubling in the ADHD, the neurodivergent community, has been so powerful in that, left to my own devices, I will wander around, take forever to sit down, as described. But when
Yeah.
I know someone else is showing up at a particular time, I would rather die than disappoint them. So,
Hmm.
like, knowing that she and I are going to hop on Zoom together and then start plotting a book and then work really enhances the productivity. So, our process, the way we do it generally is we once we've kind of come up with or storyboarded an overall plot, we decide which character, the male main character or the female main character, we identify with more,
Okay.
and then we take one. So she will write one
mhm.
POV and I will write the other POV, and we
Okay.
alternate chapters. And we generally do sort of the headlight. We're neither of us are plotters by
Okay.
nature, so which is interesting when you're co-writing a book with someone and there's no like completely established plot. That can get
Uh-huh.
fun. But that's where the video and the body doubling is helpful, because we'll each say, okay, I'm writing this chapter today, you're writing this chapter today, here's what's happening. But sometimes in the middle, the characters will do something unexpected, and
Hmm.
so we'll take ourselves off mute and be like, hey, hi, so I know they were supposed to bang the first time in the back of a bar, but guess what? Right? Like, they just did this. And then we bounce.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like real time discussion
Right.
about the things that the characters do, which is also helpful. So I would say that it also helps that um, we have similar styles in that neither one of us are so plot heavy that we can't pivot. And so we allow each other that space, which is really helpful.
Well, because that was going to be one of my questions too, if you're a planner or a pantser, but with your Alpha Art Gallery series, it's a pretty long series. Like
It is.
how did you plan any of that, or did you just kind of let it roll as you wrote book by book?
So, what I would say is, though I am not a plotter by nature, I generally know who done it.
Okay.
I don't always know how they done it. I have been surprised a couple times in terms of like the who I thought was going to be the big bad did not end up being the big bad.
Okay.
But I would say that for me, the process of plotting that series or planning that series out, I felt more like an archaeologist than an architect.
Hmm.
Like I'm brushing away pieces and then the story's kind of been there, like it's been there, and I'm discovering it piece by piece. So with each book, like generally I know there's going to be the murder, there's going to be the, that element of it, and I
Hmm.
generally know who did it. But then I kind of like leave the middle open and let the characters sort of help me uncover the story and how it happened. I know that sounds a little odd that
No.
the characters take control, but they do to the extent that when I attempt to make them do something that they don't want to do, or I take a wrong turn, they will stop talking.
Yeah.
They will just shut up. And I'm like, I know that I know I've taken a wrong turn. And then I have to like double back and figure
And
out
figure out
when it
where the
was.
turn happened. No, it doesn't
Yeah.
sound
And
weird because there's so many different authors that we've talked to since we've done the podcast, and everybody, like, there are the authors that hear the voices, there are the authors that like they create all of the
I'm not
narrative.
alone.
You're
No.
not. It's such a wide variety of methods and focus and the way these ideas come to people. And I tell every author that we interview, like, this is one of my favorite parts of doing the podcast is these author
Yeah.
spotlights, because I love hearing every single author's take on the way they approach creating their books.
Well, and what's interesting is it doesn't stay contained for me. It doesn't stay contained or confined to the hours I'm meant to spend writing, meaning
Hmm.
I can be doing my laundry, taking a shower, going to the grocery store, and then they'll just start having a conversation in one corner of my brain.
Yeah.
And then I have to like grab something. That's rule number one. I have notebooks in every single bag, every room, because I know if I don't write it down,
You will forget.
every time I've told myself, oh, this is amazing, I'm totally going to remember that.
Yeah, no.
Spoiler. In fact, she did not remember, like ever. So I have notebooks everywhere. I'm constantly, and I'm weird in that for me, I have to write it down.
I like to write things
No,
down. I hate it. Honestly, I hate like digital calendars. Like, I
no,
like to
yeah.
write it down because
Hmm.
for me, there's something satisfying about scratching things out when it's completed.
Yes, yes. That checkbox and that like getting to like slash it through with a pen. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
It
great
also
feeling.
takes a deeper root in my brain if I physically write it. And I think that's probably from,
That's a
growing
great
up
point. I'd never
growing
thought
up and
about
having
that.
to growing up and having to take notes in class. Like, I mean, I didn't grow up with
Yes.
a laptop or a phone or
No,
anything,
no.
so
We
like
did not get
that's
issued laptops or tablets or anything like unto this. We had to bring our own spiral bound notebooks in
Well,
those
and
the
like
days.
Trapper
our
Keeper.
computer class,
Oh
like
my God.
you
You were a
went to
cool
your
kid. You
computer
had a
room
trapper
and you
keeper.
had your computer class.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. I literally was part of the generation where you bring your own floppy disk and you have to label it and like
Yes.
bring it with you
Yes.
We're
to
Now, was
save
it a
things
big
on.
floppy or like the smaller floppy?
It
Because
was the
that's,
it was the
square
big one.
plastic with
yeah.
the metal,
Mm.
like, and the horror you lived in of somebody like
Oh,
all
I
the
know.
horrors.
Oh my gosh.
Stop,
Somebody touched
don't
the
don't move
floppy.
that. Oh no.
Honestly, like
They
my
don't
kids
know.
don't have a clue.
No.
No, they
Not a clue.
I didn't have my first cell phone till I was like 24. You know what I mean? And my nephew was
Yeah.
like 7 and he's like, Aunt Cindy, look, no, you're doing it wrong. You have to put the apps like this. And I'm just like,
Same.
My oldest told me
I
my
had to
phone
carry
was messed
quarters.
up. Oh, yeah. Well, so
Yep.
we got to the point where we knew exactly how to do the collect call where you didn't have to actually talk to somebody.
Yep.
You just like, when they
Yep.
ask who it is, I'm done, come pick me up.
That's where yep, you're at the mall, right?
Yeah,
Will you accept a collect call from hi, I'm done it. I'm done it afterthoughts come get me. Right?
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Because,
Yep.
payphones were a thing back then.
They
Yes.
were. They absolutely were. And we had to use them because there was no other option. So
Exactly.
again,
Yeah.
It's wild to
Dating
be part of this generation, truly.
dating ourselves
Right.
here, friends, dating ourselves.
I'm
It's fine. We do it all the time.
We did, oh, I know.
yes.
We did a whole episode where we found out we were like vintage or something like that. And
Yes.
Amanda and I, like, we lost it. Like, we could not handle it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine. But yeah, I mean, being a 90s kid was crazy that way. And that like we really were. Like I literally had a crocheted bag I would bring to the mall because I had the kind of phone, it was the brick phone
The
that you
brick,
had to
yeah.
Yeah.
screw the antenna into.
Like, and the
But
intent, but it was like, no joke, like
it
2 pounds.
was 2 pounds. It
Yeah.
was giant. You like literally, you could probably build muscle
Yes.
with it. Yeah, but I would have that, and then the antenna unscrewed in this bag, and boy, did I feel so sophisticated screwing that in to make a call. You know,
Uh-huh.
like
Well, and you had to put the antenna up because it did not work otherwise.
No.
exactly, exactly. So technology. I'm just saying. That's been an interesting aspect of these books because
Yes.
I started writing them
Hmm.
back in 2007.
Okay.
Oh,
And
wow.
into yes, I started writing the first one back in 2007. And back then it was sort of like Abernathy had a BlackBerry. And he, you know,
Hmm.
so like when the series was acquired by Tor, Macmillan, going back through and re-editing them, the tech was a big part of the edits that had to be updated
Okay.
because speaking of vintage, this is technology that like
Yeah.
modern readers would be like, oh, the BlackBerry, you know, like
Yeah.
Hmm.
it happens that fast.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, and I
It's
think
crazy.
that's the jumps that we've seen from, when all of us grew up to now. It's leaps and bounds. Like you
Oh,
can
I
go two
know.
Yes.
years and it's out of date.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I just
Right?
find that I was actually going to ask you if you had to change anything when you updated the book. So that's interesting.
The tech was a huge part of it, a huge part of it. Yes. Yeah. That was that. And just, oh my gosh. In terms of dating yourself, like the slang, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the common catchy phrases were not the same in 2007 as they are
No.
now, right? And it's like I'm writing this and they're going to see is a side part and skinny jeans, right? They're going to know where it came from with these phrases, right? Like, oh my gosh, it was so epic, right? Right? And having to
Yeah.
go back and be like, what does epic translate to now for the, you know?
Oh, they
So
won't even, it's all like
it's a
gibberish
vibe. It
now.
was a vibe, right? And even
Yeah.
that, like, give it a couple years, that's going to be totally outdated too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so there was a lot of that.
So, Tales from the Alpha Art Gallery, it follows Hannah as she comes
Mhm.
to work for Abernathy as his assistant and a little bit more. And it's it's so funny. Like the book, but she is
It's my
I
favorite
don't
thing to hear.
I don't know if she is like she is unintentionally funny though. She is one of
Mhm.
those people like these characters that come in and she's very serious, but she just is so like airheaded, but not at the same time. And it's like, oh
Right,
my. You're
right,
like, I can't
right.
believe that came out of your mouth, but I love it at the same time.
So Hannah, she's a kind of, she's been a vehicle. She, in terms of character, she is a, I would say that she, that I think sometimes, but don't say, like, I have a filter. I've had to develop a filter, you
Yeah.
know, like working in the corporate world, coming up through, you know, traditional academia, all of these
Hmm.
things. You kind of have to develop coping mechanisms and a filter. Um, and for me, it was kind of refreshing just to let her be messy and a
Uh-huh.
little bit off kilter and a little bit, you know, I wanted a main character that would be relatable in ways that like, yeah, she is kind of a mess, and no, she doesn't always make the right choices, and yes, she can be extremely like irritating sometimes, and so can I, and so can a lot of people. And I liked the idea of not trying to polish her too much or
Hmm.
make her too, you know, like she's so much smarter than everyone around her, so she instantly figures out everything, you know.
Yeah.
for me, I kind of like the messiness a little bit.
Well, she's very relatable because she is an intelligent character. Like you know that she is smart, but then because
Right.
honestly, I had this conversation with a friend. I was like, I'm biased, but both my kids are very intelligent. But sometimes the things that come out of their head, I'm like, seriously, I cannot believe you just asked that question.
Right. Right. Yes. Yeah. And the contrast of that, like where
Yeah.
you know that the raw aptitude is there, and
Yes.
yet that aptitude does not always apply to the decisions that are made, to the conversations that are had, to the
No.
choices that happen.
No. And that's one
Yeah.
thing I loved about her is like she is so real. Like she is very like she has purpose. She has like thought process and then she opens her mouth.
Right. Yes. Well, or just like the fact that she's physically clumsy and a bit spastic and a bit like not spastic. She's just not, she can be a bit ungainly and,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
for me,
her
this,
charm though.
Yeah.
there's very little room left open in the world for women and to be perfectly imperfect
Yeah.
is the way that I've felt is there's so much pressure placed upon us to be pretty, to be perfect, to be smart, to be like all of these
Yeah.
things. That's been our heritage and our intrinsic value, our cultural currency is attached to it.
Hmm.
And so the idea that yeah, you I really wanted to try to not lean into that so much as to say that like, yeah, this is a woman who's a mess. Like
Yeah.
she's just been through a divorce. And anybody who's been through one knows like you're not arriving on the other side of that as your highest self. You
Right.
know, you're not meditating. You're lucky if you eat a square meal that doesn't involve a wrapper, you know, like at
Yeah.
least some of my yes, I am speaking of my own experience. um, but just to allow for that authenticity, to say
Yeah.
it's okay that if you arrive in a situation as a mess, and a magical story can still unfold for you. You know.
Well, and then we have Mark Abernathy, her boss, who also ends up being her mate, which that's a little spoilery, but
Yes.
whatever. You can deal with that.
I mean, it's kind of implied.
It's essentially there from the get-go.
You know,
But
you know.
he's kind of an enigma throughout like all of the books. Like we learn tidbits of him,
Hmm.
but still by the end of like the series, which I hope there is more coming because you left it kind of
There
open-ended.
are, yes, I did,
But
yes.
he's still like an enigma,
Hmm.
and I need to know
And
more
I
about him.
right, and I kind of loved the contrast that and there's a couple different elements of when I get angry, when I get not angry, I get annoyed emails from readers. They're inevitably about one of two things: cliffhangers or love triangle. Because like
Yeah.
people,
Oh, because we have a
readers,
little
they
bit of
love it or they
both.
hate it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, we do.
I will say I typically hate a Cliffy. A love
Right,
triangle, it depends on how it's done, whether I like it or not. I'm kind of
right.
picky about those. But I didn't mind these cliffhangers.
Well, because the thing I tried to do is resolve the central mystery
Yeah.
and then throw out a little hook
Teaser. Yeah.
Yeah.
to pull you into the next one, right? The story to be continued. Um,
Yeah.
so, what I would say about Mark is I knew from the beginning that his and Hannah's trajectory was going to be a slow burn. Like, I
Hmm.
wanted that to be a slow burn.
Yeah.
And I think he, as a person, is that way too. And for me, too, it was sort of like if you were this old, right? If you
Yeah.
were, again, if you were centuries old,
Yeah.
this our culture today is so immediate and
Yeah.
the
Yes.
overshare is immediate and every like you tell yourself and like oh yeah no I mean I was raised by a covert narcissist, how about you, right? Like
Yeah.
we're so upfront with life details,
Yeah.
and this was not the way,
No.
right? This was not the way for many for a long time. So I did kind of want that to be part of his personality, especially in a contrast to her where like she is fire hose overshare, and so the idea that he is
Yeah.
so closed mouth is infuriating to her, and I love what that does for their tension.
Well, she's like a
So
nervous oversharer too. It's like
Yeah.
when
oh
that
absolutely,
anxiety
oh my
flaps
gosh,
up,
yes.
like the word vomit just happens, and she's like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that."
And yeah, and
Right?
also she can't stand to like not get the answers. So it's like she can't find him
Yes.
for a day and she's like, "Well, I'm flying to London.
Yep.
Like here I
Yep.
come."
Yes.
Yep.
But then
The
he leaves her
impulsivity.
there.
We keeps leaving
He's kind
her.
of
And I'm
annoying
Like
like,
they
having
have
him
their
doing
moment and
this.
then he's like, "Oh, okay, I gotta go now. Bye."
I'm out. I know it's sort of like this is part of what I love hate about the writing process is you figure out what your character wants the most and then you
Hmm.
figure out how not to give it to him
Yeah.
in the absolutely most infuriating manner possible. You thwart them at every turn, and so for her wanting those answers, wanting that connection, and for him to just continually thwart those efforts. Like I love and hate that on her behalf.
Well, but then we have the policeman who, like, he is
James
James
Morrison. Yes.
Morrison.
sprinkled in for a little bit
Yes.
of tension and love
Hmm.
triangleness happening there. And if you
Hmm.
read the last book of the series, I mean, it's like a whole other bag there. But we're not
It
going to
is
talk
indeed.
about that because
It is indeed.
you need to get to that book,
Right.
which that is why I'm interested to see where we go. Because when you did that in the last
Right.
book, I was like, oh, I didn't see that one coming,
I
but I really liked it. And Amanda's like, I
I'm
haven't read that
so
one yet, so
glad.
I
I'm
don't
not
know
on
what's
that one
going
yet.
on.
I'm two in and I have the other one three
Oh
geared
yeah.
up on my book. So
Oh,
I
just
don't know
wait.
yet.
Just wait for it because you get some
Oh,
stuff that
that
you are
makes me
not
happy.
anticipating.
That actually, so as a non-plotter,
Yeah,
that was not an element I planned going
I
into
can
that
see
book.
that.
It was not an element I planned. And when I saw that unfolding, I was like,
No,
are they, are,
as that
is this,
piece.
can I,
No, honestly,
but
that was
if
my
they,
reaction. Like as I was reading it, as that piece was unfolding, because I was like, "She's gonna go there? Really? What?"
I know, but like, but also the way it unfolded, I'm like, this can only unfold one way with her being like super nervous and like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
there's only one way. There was only one way that that could happen. But yeah, I was when I got to that point and I realized like, yeah, this is happening. I was like, oh my God.
And it
These
happened
characters have lived in my head for like
a long time.
since 2007.
Yeah.
So we're
Wow.
talking 18 years. I've known these like time for a child to be born, come of age, be a legal adult. These characters have lived in my head. And so
Yeah.
when that particular twist unfolded, I was sort of like, you guys.
Well, but then there's not another book, and I was like, dang it, what's gonna happen now?
Well, you'll be happy to know that book is being worked on as we speak. So,
Ooh.
Oh, that makes me so
yes.
happy.
They're going to Paris this time. That's the other thing I love to do with this series is travel is my great love.
Yeah.
Um, so London, Scotland, and places like that. So book 6 will take them to Paris, which will be fun.
Ooh. That's
So
very
Yes,
fun.
you have a art history degree.
I
So
do
is it
indeed.
fun to kind of go back into that world for these stories?
It really was. It really was. To through that lens, because here's the thing: like when I was getting my grad degree, I got to teach survey classes to
Hmm.
like very bored freshmen. I had the worst spot, which was like Monday night accelerated class. So like
Yeah.
it's a Monday, and my class was like 7 to 9:30.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh,
Right. And again, we've talked about tech, but back in that day, it was with slide projectors, like
Hmm.
actual click, 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 click
Yes.
slide
My all my art
projectors.
history classes were like that. Yep.
Yep. So the challenge of making the art come alive for these kids
Yeah.
who are they're just filling an elective, and it was this or world history, and they thought maybe art sounded more fun, and that's about 90% of the population that I had in these
Yeah.
classes. So for me it was sort of like, how do I make these artworks feel immediate and new? Like,
Yeah.
how do I really get them interested? And so it felt there was a similar feeling in that for me with these books, where choosing the characters or the artworks I mentioned, or
Hmm.
this idea that like if you were able to kind of correlate that in a fashion to say like Goya would be totally goth. Goya is a
Yeah.
goth kid, you know,
Yeah.
like making those connections to say like this art is still relevant and the themes that it contain are relevant, and this is why you or current, you know, people who younger audiences would be interested in this. It was sort of a fun challenge for me to say like how do I make that relatable to the art history aspect, because you say the words art history and it's like you can smell the dust,
Yeah.
honestly, like, you know,
You can see
like,
the glazed look
right?
happening. Yeah.
Oh, like standing in front of a museum with a little thing in your, like painting it with a little headset on and like
Mm-hmm.
being trotted around with somebody with an umbrella being like, and here's Monet, you know,
Yeah.
like it does have sort of that very like dusty academic
Yeah.
kind of boring element to it. So for me, the idea of infusing that with a paranormal element, making
Mm-hmm.
it sexier and murdery, or I don't know, made it feel like a a convenient vehicle to maybe make it more relevant.
Well, but also like throughout the story, like you bring those artists back in a way that makes sense. And it's
Which was
like,
so fun.
which like it just gives it that liveness that you're not anticipating. Cause like those are all artists that I studied in school. And it's like,
Right,
I was not like, I really like the way that you incorporated them into like the modern time. And it's like how they have like adjusted and changed. Like,
right,
and like Van Gogh and like his ear and like that whole like story part of it. And it's just there's just little things that like I mean,
right.
as an art major, I just really appreciated that side of it.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Yeah. I mean, getting to write Van Gogh as a character or Oscar
Hmm.
Wilde as a character.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, just there's something fun and refreshing, and I'm a research nerd.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorite parts of the process is when I get to do the deep dive to like try to say if this, like, how do I know this artist as a person, because we interact with their work, their paintings, but
Yeah.
it's the person behind it
Yeah.
that for me the character comes from. And so getting to do that research was such a fun part of this for me too. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, on all levels, getting to infuse, like kind of fuse those two things
Hmm.
together, like the artistic art history element and the paranormal element together.
I thought it was such an interesting blend that it was like unexpected, but it worked really
Yeah.
well.
Well, thank you. That makes me so happy.
So what's next?
What is next? So right now I am working on book 6 in the series. Currently there are 7.
Okay.
There are 7 slated to be released with Tor.
Okay.
Um, and then I will be shifting gears, and Tor also purchased a series of mine that was about Jane Avery, who's a recently graduated law student and pathological liar who has to
Okay.
use her wiles to find her missing private investigator mother. So that is also next for me after book 6 and 7. So I'm very excited about both of these.
No, that sound like I am very excited for these, but that other series sounds very intriguing.
Yes.
It, the again, I've so loved this turn in romance where things like Butcher and Blackbird, and where characters can be, or even something like Dexter, right?
Yeah.
We we love, I love a character who is sort of like in themselves even a little bit morally gray, but
Hmm.
fascinating. Like you
Yeah.
just want to follow them around and see what they're going to do next.
Hmm.
And and being able to sort of incorporate the dark humor, which I love,
Yeah.
you know, sort of the satire and the other things, for me is absolutely my jam. So I get super excited.
Well, I'm very excited. Amanda, do you have any other questions or anything do you need to know?
No, I think the only thing I was going to talk about was I was going to ask you until I read the bio if Hannah's love for cheese came from you.
It absolutely came from me.
She is a big fan of cheese.
I'm a
It
very
is
big fan of
a
cheese as well, so
Are
Same.
you? Do you
yes.
Oh,
do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite go-to? That's
Um,
always my question, because I was looking for recommendations.
if we get fancy, I usually will do a French triple cream.
Oh.
So that's my
Sorry, I
favorite.
made that noise out loud.
My husband makes bread, so he'll make a baguette, and then we will do like roasted garlic, triple cream, and like a green apple. So
Oh my dear Lord.
yeah. So
See, I'm a little more boring. I
are
like
you
the smoked Gouda.
a
no,
smoked
that's good
Gouda
too.
is delicious. Absolutely. It's all about the pairings too. I love
Yes.
that you do that and the apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
For me,
fancy like that.
for me, with a good triple cream brie, I love something like an orange fig spread and a bit
Yes.
of crispy prosciutto, right? The sweet, the
Yes.
salty, and the creamy together, and the crunchy bread, like mwah, like
Yeah.
that's
It
anyway.
works really
Maybe
good with like
something we
a raspberry jam too.
Oh yes, and
I
with a
don't know if
smoked
I would
Gouda,
like that.
also so sweet stuff works great with smoked Gouda, like a fig. Like I've done smoked Gouda stuffed inside of a fig, wrapped in prosciutto, and then toasted, broiled essentially,
Mhm.
Yep.
and then drizzled with like a balsamic reduction.
Yes.
Also delightful.
Yes. We're
So
very
if you
big
like
fans of
Now
Gouda,
I'm
that
getting
if
one.
you're a Gouda
hungry.
girl. I'm just saying. Gratuitous food descriptions are also something I always tell people they will always be part of my books. And I in terms of things that have had to be edited out, they're like, we really do not need an entire page about a tray of charcuterie. Like we don't need to know everything
But
that's
do
on it.
we? I think we might.
Yes, we need
I'm
it.
just
Like we're
saying,
fans.
I'm just saying, right? Like I want readers to be able to taste it and smell it and all of these things. So
And who doesn't love a well thought out board? I mean,
Yes.
really.
it's an art form. It is an art form. And I have been very, very encouraged with how much attention and time this art form has received, like in
Mhm.
various TikToks and reels and things. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I
Right?
think I need to go eat some cheese.
Every day. I mean, it's a Friday, but like
It
honestly, for
is.
me, it could be a Tuesday or
Honestly, I eat cheese every day at
Yeah.
some point
I
in the
mean,
day.
I never don't have at least three kinds in my fridge. So right now it's Borsan. I made a good pasta, so I have a really good Parmigiano Reggiano. And then my one of my absolute favorite go-tos is Cambozola, which I describe in the books, which is the
Oh,
glorious love child of Camembert and Gorgonzola. I call it the gateway cheese because even people who hate green or blue cheeses, I've introduced them to Cambozola, and they're like, "What is this?"
I could
it's
probably,
It's
delicious.
I
oh,
like me some
so good.
gorgonzola, so
It's delicious. Like it
You
is
would
one of those
love
perfect
this.
pairings. It's
Love
fantastic.
this, especially with like a fig jam, any kind of jam, and that
mm.
something crunchy.
Well, and it's
You will
like
not be
that, like
sorry.
almost like sour to the
It's like
sweet.
buttery, piquant, salty, like a little bit rude in all the right
Yep.
ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, I really need to go eat some cheese.
My work here is done.
And on that note, and until next time, happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.